All right, the witching hour is upon us, folks. So we'll call the meeting to order. Kathy's still with her daughter, and we understand her daughter's doing better. And so our prayers to her, and Godspeed getting her back. Okay, we got a couple of oddities to our agenda this morning. Ms. Carlavilla is asked to speak to the board, which she may. In fact, we welcome all of you guys here. I'm sure you all have signed in, and we'll include your names in the minutes. And Carla, you're more than welcome to make 5-10 minute comments. This board has worked, we are political appointees, we are, but we keep politics out of this session. We work together in a collegial way, I believe. I think they would all agree with that. I've been here many years, as you know, and that's kind of been the standard of our working together. That doesn't mean we won't listen to you. That just means that we're gonna try to keep our politics to ourselves.
Sure, of course.
And in the end, by statute, this board has no authority to remove, replace, enhance a member. That has to be done through this state, of course.
Sure.
So with all that said.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Before that, can I read a few sections out of the statute?
Absolutely, I omitted that.
Although it's not, the nature of Ms. Miller's comments are not in the agenda here, I'm given to understand that they may relate to one of our board members.
Yes.
And so let me read from section 163 of the general statutes. This is section 39, and it relates to political activities by a county board of election member and employees. It says that these are things that a county board member cannot do. Cannot make written or oral statements intended for general distribution or dissemination to the public at large, supporting or opposing the nomination or election of one or more clearly identified candidates for public office. The board members may not make written or oral statements intended for general dissemination or distribution to the public at large, supporting or opposing the passage of one or more clearly identified referendum proposals. And the board member may not solicit contributions for a candidate, political committee, or referendum committee. Individual expressions of opinion, support, or opposition not intended for general public distribution shall not be deemed a violation of this article. Nothing in this article shall be deemed to prohibit participation in a political party convention as a delegate. Nothing in this article shall be deemed to prohibit a board member or board employee from making a contribution to a candidate, a political committee, or a referendum committee. Nothing in this article shall be deemed to prohibit a board member or employee from advising other government entities as to technical matters related to election administration or revision of electoral district boundaries. A violation of this article may be grounds to remove a county board of election member, and it references another statute. These are the only restrictions that are in our general statute related to activities that we as county board members are not allowed to participate in. The North Carolina Administrative Code has a section, Title 8, which refers to things that the State Board of Elections has enacted, and we are bound to follow these rules of the Administrative Code in the same way we're bound to follow the statutes. And there's a section here in Title 8, Section 3.0101, voter complaints against a member of a county board of elections. Any voter desiring to prefer charges of a violation of these rules or the chapter I just read from the general statutes against a board member of any county board of elections may do so by filing with the board, this being the state board, a statement in writing signed and sworn under oath or affiliation of the voter, which statement shall contain the name, the residence, the address, and the county of the member against whom the charges, the county board member against whom the charges are preferred. A statement of the facts constituting the violation alleged with a reference to the date and the place of such misconduct, and the names and addresses, so far as may be known to the persons filing the charges, of persons who have knowledge or information of the matters referred to in the charges as filed. The statement shall be filed on the form available on the State Board's website. I checked this morning, and there is in fact a form on the State Board's website that's captioned "Complaint against a County Board of Elections member." It needs to be notarized because it is an affidavit. Upon receipt of the charges filed against a county board member, the State Board of Elections shall set a hearing if the charges preferred include prima facie evidence of any of the following: violation of the rules of the administrative code or the statute that I just read to you, a breach of duty imposed by chapter in the statutes, participation in irregularities, incapacity, or incompetency to discharge the duties of the office. And the State Board of Elections shall give notice by mail to the county board member against whom the charges are preferred by mail, and setting a date and a time and a place for a hearing thereof. And then it goes on to describe the hearing, which is very much what you would expect a hearing to be, with witnesses and statements and whatever. So, Mr. Chair, it would be my understanding that we, of course, welcome all comments from the public, but we are without the authority to take any action regarding any of our members. That would have to be done, as we were appointed by the State Board. Any action against any of our members would need to be done by the State Board pursuant to their rules.
Yeah, and I think we've explained that to you previously, but we thought we wanted to get this on the record so everybody know the rules that we're behind.
Absolutely.
And with that said, if you please limit your comments to 5 or 10 minutes.
Should I sit here? Should I stand?
Just stand up, you can do whatever
What should I
you
do?
whatever you like. Somewhere where we can see you.
Is over here?
Maybe over there.
Okay, that works. That works.
Because my neck doesn't work. And
First of all, just thank you so much for giving me a minute today.
Absolutely.
And Melanie, thank you for all you and the people you represent do every day. You have been just absolutely marvelous. Had the pleasure of working with Debbie for years. And
I had lunch with her and Sarah.
she's awesome, but nothing changed. I mean, just like this, we just kept going beautifully. And it's just been a joy through all of these years to work with all of you. I will keep this brief. I have a couple of questions that I'd like to pose to the board, and particularly to John and Mr. Van Hook, my friend John, for many years gone by. Have some questions I'd like to ask him. And I think this is, I couch this in an area, in a circle, I suppose, of a lot of skepticism by the public on election integrity. Even this last time, our state imposed mandates on us that hadn't been there before for poll observers. You know what I'm talking about, the whole thing. The public is watching us, and they're watching every move you make. I'm sure you're aware of that. They watched every move I made, daily, hourly. And so when I think we color just a little outside of a line, it is picked up and it's noticed. And with that, I'd just like to ask John a couple of questions. I'll be on my way because it's a beautiful day.
However, I'll reserve the right to also ask you some questions.
Are we doing questions and answers?
no, let's not do that. Make your comment.
All right, my comment would be, and I guess, I don't know, let me turn it to a statement then. It is my understanding, I'll put it that way, that John participated in secret, clandestine meetings that he either hosted them, met with, or quarterbacked, is the word his cohorts used, to, and I'm not sure what this word should be, maybe you could help me here, to disrupt, to incite, to manipulate a county party and their convention. So that's number one. And so my question would have been, as you can guess, the opposite of the statement. Did that occur? Number two, was there manipulation by John, interference? And this I actually witnessed, so I wouldn't really have to ask this question. In a precinct chair meeting at this year's county convention on March the 17th, at which time John and a couple of cohorts, a statement, laid aside, put down, whatever you want to call it, summarily dismissed the precinct chair that had served there for several years by herself without help from John, his family, other of his cohorts, except for Dwight Vinson. And she had done that faithfully every time there was an election. She was at East Franklin at the door, at 50 feet, I know that, at the door with sample ballots or whatever was needed to be called for her to do at that point. She was always there, always faithful. She served on our board day after day after day. So my two statements would simply be, can a board member do that? Not speaking specifically, I guess that was a question. I read the duties. I went all over the state looking for the mission statement of boards, literally all over the state. I read the state mission statement. I call that the thesis statement. I'm an old English teacher, I guess, but what is it that boards do? And every time the same words kept coming up. Honest, accurate elections. Honest, I forgot some of the other words, but there were about 5 of them that came up time after time after time. Now, when a board member manipulates either a county convention or a precinct meeting, that's just plain unacceptable. That's unacceptable. I don't care what party you're from. And frankly, I'm embarrassed to death to be here today, because it is not my nature to air the dirty laundry of the Republican Party. I've stood at the front of that party for a long time, carrying a banner that did not do that. It's embarrassing. But if we don't do what we need to do on the county level, the state's trying to repair this with election integrity. There may be a few people from our convention that are thrilled with what they saw, but 75% of our people, I'm talking about the Republican Party of Macon County, and I'm a very good spokesman for them, are not happy with what they saw a board member doing. Disruption, peddling influence, meddling. This started in at least December of 22, this campaign to disrupt the Republican convention and unseat, let me say that again, to disrupt the convention and to change it in a way that completely toppled a very stable political organization that you have not heard any kind of crap from in your office. We were known as the leader of the West. We were known statewide as innovative leaders, rule followers. By the Board of Ethics, by the Board of Rules and Regulations is what we have to operate under, by the Board of Elections Finance Committee, and so forth. So there have to be rules, there have to be regulations. And when your public is watching you, and they're watching one of your members actively advocating for one person or another. Yes, I heard what you read, and it was right on, spot on. Yes, they can be a delegate. Yes, they can give to a party person, give to a candidate, absolutely. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about seeking to manipulate the system, and that's wrong. I'll finish up. You giving me the time signal, Mr. Colonel Deals?
Please.
I have listened to him before. He tells me. All right. I think I'll just finish with this. When the trust is destroyed, either in a council member, a board member, or the board at large, or the state at large, or the nation in our process of electing the people that we elect. When trust is destroyed, there's no credibility left. Statement, thank you.
Ma'am, can I ask you just a quick clarification? Are any of the things that you're alleging here, do they involve advocating for or against a particular candidate for public office or a referendum?
Not,
that's on the
not public
ballot?
office,
No.
within the public, within the party,
No.
within the
Okay,
organization.
Well, the reason I said that is because that does seem to be what we're able to address, are things that relate to people
Right.
who are
Well,
advocating for or against candidates for public office.
I understand what you're saying. However, I will make the point that when trust is broken in a board member, a representative who represents my particular party, trust is broken in your board. Trust is broken down the line.
Well, yeah, and we appreciate your comments and where you're coming from, and if you feel strongly about this, I really do encourage you to follow Jeff's
Well, I intend to.
admonition there.
I intend to.
and
I
go
will
to their
be,
website.
I will
and
be
do that,
addressing the State
and
Board
then-
of Elections.
And then the other side can be heard as well. Otherwise, we just have your viewpoint.
My
Which-
viewpoint.
Which we honor by listening.
I
to
hope
it.
so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I will be addressing the State Board of Elections. I'll also be
Good.
addressing the district, 17 counties in the district, which held us, by the way, to the highest esteem in District 11. And how I know that is, I attended those meetings month after month for over 10 years. The other chairmen all felt they had to attend the Board of Elections meetings every month because they were going to cheat on the parties from both sides,
That's true.
Thank you.
I've been to those same
Thank you.
meetings.
I am the one who stood up in District 11 and said, they said, "Are you joking me?" I said, "No, we don't have to do that. We have two of the best representatives, and including Luke Bateman, in years
Yeah,
gone by."
and I would include our Democratic colleagues as well.
Absolutely. I meant to gesture to everyone. But I said, as far as the Republicans are concerned, I would never have a doubt that our best interest was not served. And I was looked at like I had 10 eyes or something, and you know that's
I know
true.
I know that's absolutely
So
true.
that is the banner we have carried in front of, well, now 16 and a half cousins, counties in the 11th district. But I will also be calling, I will wait for your input, and whatever that resolution, whatever you deem is correct in here, and if you're telling me the next step is to go to the state,
It
that's
is.
exactly what I will do. That's
is.
exactly what I will
It
do.
is.
I will also probably let the press know that we have a story to tell. And I do have tons of witnesses. I came by myself today. My husband, I didn't know Elizabeth was coming, 'cause I didn't want to bring an entourage and do a grandstanding thing. That's not the point. The point is right and wrong, and trust.
Okay.
Thank
We
you for your
appreciate it.
time.
We appreciate it very much, Carla.
Okay?
Move along.
Do we need to take a break in case anyone needs to leave?
Well, let me say this here. So
Very briefly.
she was granted time to make her statement.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone else that's joined us today that would want to say anything or add anything? Just throw that out there.
Again, I think we let the process run.
Well, no, I mean, we granted her time.
We did, if one of these gentlemen, the ladies out there, and lady, if somebody else wants to say something, we'll listen to you briefly.
I'm here, I'm elected at large, and I'm representing Chairman Goodman today because one of his good friends had a serious medical emergency this morning, so he couldn't
Oh,
attend.
sorry to hear that.
He has reappointed Mr. Van Hook for the position that he currently holds on.
He's nominated him to
He's
the state,
nominated
yes.
Ben Sims, and so he has the full support of the party.
There you go. Thank you.
What's your name, sir?
Rob Tolp, T-O-L-P.
Thank you, Rob.
Legal name is William, if you want to use that.
Okay, we're good. Anybody, you guys are welcome to stay if you want to, if you don't have to, but if you want.